Hi everyone, doing this quick video on the 2019 hidden metrics of email deliverability from return path that showcase industry benchmarks for 7 key metrics. Actually, when I saw this report, I got quite excited reading about it because I've been teaching email marketing for quite some time now, and I used to do email marketing quite a lot in the past years, although recently it hasn't been that much, although, of course, in my inbox, I receive email marketing from different people, from different organizations that I'm subscribed to, and some, of course, we all have our share of unsolicited email. Now, this report, what makes it interesting is that it features a study of different industries and the kind of reactions or responses that they're getting from their email, from being seen in spam or marked as spam, how many were read, deleted before reading, reply, forward, complaint, this is not spam, among other things. So I'm sharing this to you also with the intention of sharing my reaction to it, and I hope that you will find this quick video interesting as well. So messages, of course, we receive a lot of email, no? And normally from personal experience, I would typically mark a message as spam if I don't find it relevant and I have no idea why I got it in the first place. And sometimes, of course, because of an interesting headline, sometimes we get a chance to read it. But in some cases, if the headline and the entity sending makes no sense at all, we usually delete a message. And if the message is interesting enough, sometimes we also reply to it or even forward it to other people. And sometimes there are really messages that you're surprised that they got into the spam folder. So you have to help them get out of the spam folder and see it in your inbox. Now let's talk about the spam placement rate. I think this part of the report is what got me interested and made me determined enough to do this quick video and share it with you. Actually, I have this report since yesterday, but I was not able to do a quick report about this. So here we go. As far as this report is concerned, it is noted that the spam placement rate, placement average for all industries in 2018 was at 9%. And actually, it is considered to be a drop. There's a drop in the spam placement rate. So in 2017, average emails going to the spam folder, like for example, in the apparel and accessory sector, is at 13%. And on 2018, it's now on 7%. Automotive also experienced a decline. So almost all of the industries experience a year-on-year change of -5%. So unlike before, when where things were higher, so there's now a decline of spam placement rate percentage. So I think this is good news, no? So that means a lot of people or a lot of industries have really improved the quality of their emails to lessen their emails going to the spam folder. Although I think when you look at the deals and rewards, I think the deals and rewards sector is still at the same rate at 4%. No, is that correct? Oh, sorry, it's the distribution and manufacturing sector still remains at 4%. So I think they're the only ones who haven't improved much, and also the job sector because it has remained the same, no? However, when you look at the office supply sector, it seems they have the biggest year-on-year change at 10%. Now, let's look at the read rate. Now, I think because of the various ways that we can get in touch with people, like for me, my primary communication medium now is mostly Messenger, no? Or, the social media tools that we're using and keep in touch with people. So we just check emails, maybe because we're tracking other correspondence that would not be typically sent on a one-on-one basis. Here, it says that the average read rate in 2018 was at 24%, with distribution and manufacturing having the highest read rate for the third year in a row at 60%, and in the second place at 43%. So year-on-year change, overall read rate also increased by 2 percentage points. So when you look at the read rate, meaning emails that are getting sent out are actually being read. So there is an increase anywhere from 1%. I think the highest increase was experienced by insurance at 4%, and pets, okay, and of course telecommunication also at 5%. Those with not much year-on-year rate change or very minimal includes dealer rewards, the education, nonprofit, and government, insurance, kids and babies, office supplies, real estate, service, and travel. So there's an average of 2% year-on-year change insofar as emails being read. Now, they also have a report on deleted before reading. So these are emails that were ignored. Usually, I think one of the reasons behind this is sometimes we receive an email from a specific entity or person, and they keep sending regular emails, so you never really got the chance to read them, and then later on you decided to just delete them in one lot. I guess that's one thing. And then, of course, if you are accessing your email from your mobile device, you definitely would want to only read those messages that you believe are important to you and ignore everyone else, no? So I guess that's the reason why you have this delete. That's why we delete before even reading it, or sometimes now or sometimes referred to as ignore rate. All right. So average deleted before reading rate in 2018 was 16%, matching its lead in reads. Distribution, manufacturing was the least ignored sector with a deleted reading rate of 9%. However, there's another end of the spectrum where they have higher deleted before reading rate. So let's look at that. So as you can see, although spam rate may have decreased, more emails are getting read, but at the same time, you also have more emails getting deleted even before they are read, no? So we have an increase of 4% from 2017 to 2018, with pets having one of the highest deleted before read rate. And then you also have business and marketing, education, nonprofit, government, flowers and gifts, food and drug. You also have service, social and dating, sporting goods, toys, hobbies, and crafts. Perhaps one insight that I can glean that I'm getting here is that maybe it's about how frequent you send your emails. I guess the moment you send more emails than you should, then people might get annoyed why they may felt like they're being bombarded by emails, and sooner or later they may start deleting before reading them, because sometimes people would not bother to unsubscribe or open and mark an email as spam, or tick them and mark them as spam because they're not yet sure of the content. So I guess that's the reason why you would just prefer deleting them, no? And then reply rate is the number of replies to your email out of the total email sent. So if there's a reply, usually it's a strong signal that the person is interested. Although on the other hand, a person can also reply and tell you and ask you, how did you get my email? Why are you sending me emails? Or perhaps people replying because they wanted to be unsubscribed. And of course, there are parties who will reply because they are interested. So that is why what I would often suggest is that when you first send out an email to a person, especially even if they gave consent, no, you might want to try first if they will be responsive to your messages, like sending them some useful information first, or send some form of an introduction. Then if you're getting a response that the person is interested, then you can send them an email. Be very specific why you're sending them an email, and be very specific as to if you're going to send them something frequently, what is it going to be all about. So for example, we have a newsletter at paper.ly, so people have to subscribe to that. I cannot just share that to everyone who's in my mailing list. And on the other hand, if I'm going to send reminders to people that we have an upcoming event, then most likely I would only send it to people who have expressed interest to our event pages or have filled up forms, among others. You cannot assume that people who have filled up your forms in the past will still be interested in receiving information from you. And the more you have to be sensitive on this matter, because now we have a data privacy law, and you're now seeing more and more countries around the world also having their own data privacy law. So when you look at the reply rates, although emails are being read more, and emails deleted before read, and spam rate also decreasing, but the number of people replying to messages is also on a decline. So as you can see here, there's a lower number of people replying to messages, except in the case of communication where they had, it seems a 1% increase in 2018, but when you look at the year-on-year change, it's still low, right? I mean, compared to the previous year where they were at 2.16%, this year they are already at 1.09%. Perhaps conversation also are being taken out from email and taken through other channels such as social media. Maybe one of the reasons also behind it. You also have the forward rate, and this is where an email gets shared to another person for their consideration or for their information. So there was no change from last year based on this report. So that's why it's 0%. So meaning forward rates from last year to this year are not significant. So I mean, there's no significant change to the point that you can highlight some good practices being shared there. Then that means also, I remember reading one article yesterday about there's this resource person on social media and digital marketing, somehow disputing the idea of following the Pareto principle on social media, where 80% should be helpful and 20% only for selling, reasoning that it's not entirely true because the others are really good at it, so they can do 80% selling and 20% something else. Part of me wanted to dispute it, but then I realized that it's really a case-to-case basis, because it's the kind of value, your decision on what kind of value do you want to add to people. So I guess in this case as well, we can think about what are you sharing on social media, what are you sharing on people through email, and why would people be compelled to share it to others? I think we have to really think about, is email still the best venue to sell something, or email should be used as a venue to educate people? Because the more we try to shove through email all our market offerings, among others, sooner or later your read rates will be on the decline, unless of course you're an entity where what you're offering is something that people are looking forward to, and it is something that you don't send out that frequently. But the markets are changing, people are changing, behaviors are changing, perceived value is also changing. In fact, even scarcity, the way people treat scarcity is also changing. So we really have to think about the kind of content that we put out online, and what will make people forward and share this to others, and those receiving it will also carry out the same. Okay. And then you also have the complaint rate, which subscribers report your messages as spam. So these are usually where a message gets, I think, marked as spam, or your complaint to a service provider. Well, in this case, it's about subscribers reporting your messages as spam. All right. Now, complaints more than doubled from last year's average of 0.17. So meaning, even if more people are reading emails, lesser emails going to spam, but still a lot of complaints are also high. So that means that there's an increase, although it's not that high, it's only 0.21%. But of course, if you're talking about thousands or millions of email, that's still a big number. And I guess you can say that it's also users becoming adamant. But now, of course, we must remember that complaints now take place differently. I mean, there's the default where you can just complain, right, and mark the message as spam. But now you also have that other type of complaint where you can be complaining for sending messages without consent to authorities. Unlike before, you can just mark a message as spam, but now you can really question how how did the entity got your email and be reported for spamming, no? And doing unethical practices with emails being gathered and sending them nonstop email, something like that. So that is why in my conversation this morning, with the person that we're getting as a customer relationship manager for a project, I was really adamant that the person takes an email marketing certification course, something that I took before. And then I also asked the person to plan out how to do an email sending, introducing oneself first and getting a permission to send a specific content. And only when that person agrees can that content be sent. I mean, it's tedious, but it's really, I mean, times have really changed. I mean, if you don't respect your users and give them the kind of treatment that they deserve, then you will likely get the kind of treatment you will likely get that kind of treatment as well, right? And then, of course, there's also the "this is not spam" grade. This is where we mark messages as not spam. So it's like a rescue of an email. So 2018 has a steep drop in the "this is not spam" rescue at 1.75 percentage points. So it's not, I guess, before there were higher saving of email, rescuing of emails from the spam folder, bringing them back to the inbox in 2017. But 2018, they don't have the same result. As you can see here, the percentages are lower. Although personally, when I think about it, from my own experience, I think I've been very kind to some of the emails that I have received and rescued them from the spam folder, especially if the person told me that he or she sent me that message. Although, of course, unless the person alerts you, then most likely, those emails will not be rescued from the spam folder at all. So takeaway, if you're using an email marketing tool, then make sure to keep track of your metrics. And then, of course, it's important to do your list segmentation, as mentioned here. You cannot just keep sending emails to people who have bouncing emails or people who have not been reading your email. So that is why it's important to use customer relationship management tools and keep track of people. And if you have tracking tools, like when people read your email, visit your website, of course, please remember, don't tell people they know that maybe you have tracking capability, but you should not tell them that you're tracking them, because that will really freak people out, and most likely will feel that their privacy is being violated. All right. So Return Path, we really appreciate the support. This is very enlightening, and I hope to use all the insights that you shared in this report so I can make better decisions on how I'm going to send my emails. And I'm going to pose also the same challenge to students on how can they create, to our students in our digital marketing classes, in our e-commerce classes, on how they can create emails that will not go to spam, that will not be complained about, that will likely get forwarded, that will likely get replied upon, and read, and not marked as spam. All right. So thank you very much again for watching this video, and I hope that the sharing here is useful for you.